Hi folks, Chris Voss here from the chrisvossshow.com, the chrisvossshow.com. Coming here with a blog post I want to take and share with you. Now, as you may have heard, Spotify, which is really popular in Europe, which is a music service that you can download music from, buy music on, etc., in essence, has opened to the U.S., and they're putting out limited invitations, etc. I've been lucky to have been on it since January. I found there was a way to trick into the system using a Europe IP address and a Europe address and be able to get an account. And so I've been playing with it for about 4 or 5 months. It's interesting, but I don't find it that exciting compared to some of the things that are coming out now. It may be arriving in the U.S. as iCloud and music.google.com are taking off now. But let's talk about Spotify. I think it's a pretty good service. I mean, it's only $4.99 a month or $9.95 a month, and I believe they offer some discounts if you buy a year's package. You can see some of the different releases, some of the different top lists, some of the different feeds. Now, Spotify, for the most part, is a building service where you build playlists. You can share playlists with your friends, and pretty much they work off of the database that Spotify has as you move and share music around. So it meets the terms of legitimacy where if it's on the Spotify database, I guess you can pass it around. Now, you can go in, see what other people have set up. You can establish your own playlist if you like, and we'll talk about that too. There's the play queue, which is your music as it's queued up and getting ready to play. You can also see some of the history of what you played. There's an inbox for a list of music that you've been sent if other people are sending you their Spotify playlist. Number of devices. This now works. You can now download the iPhone app from the iTunes store. It will also work on the iPad, although it's not designed for the iPad. It's still the little iPhone. It's okay. The thing you want to be careful is don't hit the syncing buttons, if you will, right away. It'll ask if you want to sync, hit yes, but make sure it doesn't start syncing. You can stop the program if you need to. One of the things I have over 15,000 songs. The problem is it tried to, when I told it to sync it, it tried to put all 15,000 songs on my devices, which wasn't going to go far. And so I had to cut it off. So what you want to do is probably build smaller playlists. It is kind of limited in that service where you actually have to transfer songs to your devices. If you want to play them so much, there's some different other things that you can do to just get your playlist to play. But if you want certain songs synced to your machine, you can't have access to the whole thing. You can have access to your playlists by downloadability. So there is that. It's kind of weird how it's set up. The other thing that I didn't like about it is the library is not based. You can't assign the library to a certain part of your computer. It's assigned to your iTunes. So in essence, with your iTunes, you've got to have all of your songs loaded up in your iTunes, and then it sucks the database from your iTunes. I couldn't figure out how. I don't even know if there is a possible way to get around having this thing pull from iTunes. It just seems to intuitively know what's in iTunes and pull from it. You can see all your local files that you might have. I exactly have about 15,000, I think it is. There's a lot. Starred songs that you might have starred. The great thing about Spotify is you can go up and you can find music that is available to you by subscribing to the Spotify service. You don't essentially download the songs, but what you're doing is you're playing the playlist. And so you can share these, of course, too, on your playlist. It's kind of very similar to what Ping has from iTunes. Now, with this service, you can go in and you can search for different artists that you may want to see on Spotify. Once you see those artists, you can kind of hone into some of them, and you can see some of the different songs they have. One thing that's really cool is if you really like an artist and you want all their songs on a playlist, you can literally just click on one song. You come up here, you hit select all, and then you hit add to a new playlist, and it'll put billions of those songs in a playlist. You can see here my Megadeth playlist has 454 tracks. My Rush one has 916. Unfortunately, I can't get Metallica on here. What are you going to do? Judas Priest, 896 songs. So you can load up all this stuff into a playlist for yourself if that's what you want to take and do. The service on the iPhone is really nice. It seems to play a really good. You can choose high quality or low quality, low bandwidth, and the high quality does come through very nicely. Most of my tracks were recorded at, I believe it was 320 kilobytes per second, and so they're really high-end sounding bits, or at least they were at the time. So anyway, that's the Spotify Premium. I like it. Yeah, try it for $4.95 or $9.95. See if you like it. In essence, I really like the music.google.com because it puts everything in the web. I can access it anywhere. I don't seem to have the limits that I have with the iPhone and the iPad. The other thing is there's the new iCloud that's coming out from iTunes, and that's going to change the game where it'll probably be competing a little bit here with Spotify, where it's going to have all my music up in the web, whether I bought it through iTunes or not. So as the new iCloud comes out, that'll be an interesting competitor to this. It's a great service, but it may have arrived a little bit too late. Anyway, thanks for checking in with me. Be sure to check back daily. Bye-bye.